Welcome to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. I'm your host, Mari Riesberg. Over the past several years, I've combined my degrees in acting and somatic psychology to share my sustaining creativity techniques with performers. And now I've decided to share it with a bigger audience that includes you. I believe we are all creative, and this podcast is all about that. I'll be interviewing people from all backgrounds, ages, and creativity experiences to share just how creative we all are. Today, I'll be chatting with Emile Pandolfi. He's spent 40 years living the life of his dreams as one of the top-selling pianists in the music industry. Please enjoy Emile Pandolfi. Welcome to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. Today, I am here with Emile Pandolfi, professional pianist and entertainer. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
You are so welcome. I'm super excited to chat with you about creativity. But before we get into the world of creativity, why don't you just take a couple of moments and share a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Okay, well, I play piano. I've been playing piano since I was about, too young to remember. And I've had a successful career in playing piano and doing concerts for about 40 years. So I'm very old. But I've also made a lot of mistakes and learned a lot of things from those. And I love playing the piano. I love entertaining. I always say pianist entertainer because they're two different things. But I enjoy, creativity has been a part of my life ever since I can remember, and it's something that I love doing. I made my living as a pianist through numerous different ways, playing cocktail piano early on, playing on cruise ships, playing for ballet classes, accompanying singers. There are so many ways that you can use your art and your craft to create a life that you love. And overall, creativity is creating the life that you love. So that's my philosophy.
I love it. What made you start piano? Was it something that was inside of you, or was it an external force?
Well, we were 4 kids, and all of us took music as a kind of a given. You just simply did. 3 out of 4 of us became professional musicians.
Oh, wow.
Chose not to, but it wasn't like, oh, it's so special. It was just simply that everybody take lessons on something. But two of my sisters are professional violinists. I'm a pianist. My other sister took piano, but she decided that wasn't for her. But she took lessons for probably like 5 or 10 years or something like that. I don't remember. But it was part of life and creativity growing up in an Italian-American family where everything is in high def anyway.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That helped, because I think you don't say, how was your day, dear? You don't say, it was pretty good. You say, oh my God, it was so amazing, or it was so horrible. And then you put that into your music or your art or your painting, and it would either be vivid colors or huge dynamics in your playing. And it was just such a part of who I have always been. So creativity as a subject is sort of like saying, what's your name? My name is Emile. It's just part of life. So
I love it.
To talk to you about it.
Yeah, no, I think that's so wonderful. It is a part of life for me as well. I grew up in a musical family. My dad was a music teacher for years. He's also a drummer. My brother's a drummer. I played many instruments, but the one I stuck with was singing. And so I feel that, expression of creativity when I sing. And it sounds like you have that when you play as well. Do you have a particular genre of music that you are more drawn to than others, that feels deeply connected to you?
Yes, I actually do. And my whole background is in classical music. I didn't play anything but classical until after college. But what I do as a career and what I really feel close to is movie themes, movies and musicals.
Yay! I love it.
And my whole performing career has been my piano solo arrangements of themes from movies and musicals, because they're, I mean, such a wealth of
Mm,
two reasons. All of my technique and background is classical. That gave me the tools to do
right.
whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think you can live without that. A good sturdy, pardon me, background. But then I applied it to those. I love movie themes and I love musicals. There's such a wealth of emotion in them, and then you put your stamp on it, and that's what I just love doing.
Oh, I love I so connect. I am a
Yeah.
musical theater person.
Yes,
So I love singing musical theater. You can find me doing it in the car all the time in the shower. But yeah,
we can
I
drive somewhere together.
yes, oh my gosh, that would be amazing. Yeah. I love that, having that foundation of classical music and then making it your own and bringing life into musicals and movie themes too. I think what a beautiful like blossoming of creativity, when you have something and then you make it your own, that creative experience and creative expression.
hmm hmm
Mm.
It's my book is called Play It Like You Mean It, and the reason for that whole thing, the whole reason for the book, is that some people who are very talented, very good at what they do, but they don't know how to put more of themselves into the music. And I think that's something to be talked about, because it's there, but you have to find it. And for me, and apparently for you as well, it was just there. You didn't, you almost, I remember when I was like 5 or 6 years old and you're playing for aunts and uncles, they say, okay, that's enough, honey, you can go away now. It wasn't like, oh, I'm shy, I don't want to play. No, I can't wait. I wanted to
Yes.
play. I had so much to say in Dolly Dear or Up a Row or whatever this.
Whatever song you were playing on the piano, I understand completely. Yeah, I want to get back to your book, but before we do, I want to ask, what does it mean to you to be creative?
I guess it means to be authentically who you are and not being afraid that other people won't like who you are authentically.
Mm.
You just have to say, it's okay with me if they, and in a career sense,
Mhm.
I do things that sometimes my favorite arrangements never sell, but that's okay with me. I still have my favorite arrangements, but in the meantime, I try to do the ones that say, what is it about this one that really appeals to a lot of people? Because I'm in the business. So
Right.
I mean, try to do more of that while staying authentic to myself.
Mm.
But I think creativity is not being ashamed of who you are. Hey,
Mhm.
look, this is how I look.
Yeah. And how I feel. And I'm going to put that out into the world. And it may not resonate with others. And that's okay. Not everyone resonates with me. So I think that's a good balance.
And not everyone wants to have a career in their art. Maybe they just want you need to make it. How you hear, oh, he plays so well, it's such a shame he won't play for others. No, it's not a shame. It's a choice.
Yes.
And maybe you make your living as an insurance salesman or as on Wall Street or something. But
Mhm.
you have this thing when you're alone at night, and when you gotta think of your music or think of your poetry, or I
Mhm.
mean, it's just such a rewarding feeling, and it may or may not be your business.
Absolutely. I look at it as a way to really sustain creativity in your life by having something that is just for you. It's not for anyone else. You write the music you want to, you paint the picture you want to. It's really for you. And that is what like continues to fill your creative vessel. So you can go be the insurance salesman. So you can go parent. You can have more opportunities to pull from that creativity, but it may not be your job.
You said something very interesting that really resonated with me, was that as far as affirmations, for example, I'm the best pianist in the world, or an affirmation that you could actually believe that I have something to say and I say it really well according to me. And I think if for many artists, if you can separate what other people, they may or may not like your art. They may, I mean,
Mhm.
there's not a thing you can do about it.
Right.
But, but because I've never over the for 40 years I've been reading books on affirmations and self-improvement and so forth. But I'm one of those people that read all those books, and I mean dozens and dozens.
Mhm.
And I've thought, no, it just doesn't work. But I listened to what you said, and I said, well, I'm trying to do something that I don't believe in, or that my
Yeah.
subconscious does not believe in.
Yeah.
And yet in the meantime, my life was going along and I was progressing according to what, without saying so,
Mhm.
I was progressing according to what I believed in. Duh.
Yeah. It's
My bio-
amazing
my
when we connect those.
my autobiography is going to be called Duh.
Perfect. The perfect creativity title. I love it. That's fantastic. Yeah, it's amazing what happens when our subconscious shows up and starts to buy into affirmations that it can actually believe and wants to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a I just didn't look at it that way until I heard you say it.
Oh, well, thank you. You're welcome for the nugget. I hope take it and run.
It's a big friggin' nugget.
That's amazing. Now, I imagine having had a career 40 years with lots of creative output, I imagine challenges have come up over the course of your career. What are some of the challenges you've faced, and how do you face creative challenges?
Well, one of the things that a challenge has been, I have a deadline to perform certain pieces of music and
Mhm.
I'm just not ready. And one of the things that I have found, the most harmful thing I can do is berate myself and get on, the most helpful thing I can do is give myself a break. Not
Mm.
every day is going to be a great practice day, or not every day is going to be, uh, I, I think the biggest thing that you can do psychologically for yourself is not get on your own case. And that's 2 against 1. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it, even if in my career, I'm playing solo concerts and I get to choose what I play. So there have
Mhm.
been times when I really wanted to play my best piece of music, but it's just not ready. And you have to have the wisdom to, if you have the choice, which I normally do, chuck it out of the program and don't play it until it's not the hardest thing. There's
Yeah.
one of my hobbies is sleight of hand magic. And
Oh,
in magic, there's a thing, never perform your hardest trick because you'll screw up. So
yeah.
don't perform it until it's no longer your hardest trick. And
Oh,
with the playing the music, I want to play this piece by Rachmaninoff, but it's not ready. But I say, yeah, but if they heard it, it's such a great piece of music, and 1 out of 10 times I do it right. And you have to have the wisdom to not put that burden on yourself. That's given you have a choice. A
right.
lot of I've always been a solo performer, so I do have that choice. That's a luxury. I have that
Mhm.
choice. But if I have something that I just have to, okay, I practiced 6 hours on it. Well, maybe you need 7, maybe you need 10, maybe you need
Mhm.
20. And it's going to work that day. I mean, we're talking about if it's your profession. If
Yeah.
it's not your profession, hey, do whatever you want, you know?
Play it whenever, for
Yeah.
whomever. Yeah. I love that you're a sleight of hand magician as well.
Yeah.
That feels like such a equally creative endeavor.
It's
as-
wonderful. And sleight of hand, when I lived in Los Angeles, I was a member of the place called the Magic Castle, which is
yeah.
well, sleight of hand is wonderful because it's not using tricks. I mean, by the way, I love big illusions. I love them, and I've done a few myself. But mostly, sleight of hand means I'm doing something right in front of you that you cannot see because of
Yeah.
technique, and it's just I don't know. It's just it's another way of creating entertainment for somebody. Look, it was a 2, now it's a jack. I mean,
I mean, as you're talking, I'm just like piecing parallels together between sleight of hand magic and playing the piano and how you're turning something into something else.
well, that's what you do. You're multifaceted. You teach people, you entertain people, and
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's wonderful. I think I learned a little bit of your history from listening, and it's like hey, today I'm going to be creative in this area, and tomorrow that, and maybe this one's my main occupation. I mean, it's hard to think. Everyone is creative in some way. I think that some people don't give themselves credit for being entertained, for being creative, because they're not in the quote creative arts, but they're creative in their Wall Street or in their business, or as whatever they happen to be doing as in construction or in, I mean, it's, and I think that when we separate the arts from the rest of the world, that's a shame. We shouldn't, because there's art in every way, everything that you do. My sister Emily was such a creative person. She was a teacher in public school for her whole career, but she was so creative. And when you went to her house, her whole life was a piece of artwork, and the way she decorated her house, and the way she had parties for people, and the way she made her students feel was entirely creative. But she wasn't an artist by profession. Yeah, she was an artist in life, and it was a very real thing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, creativity is life. You can find it in anything you do. When I garden, when I go for walks, when I play with my cat. And I think creativity is kind of that bridge between the performing arts and, quotes, the rest of the world.
Right.
That we all have the capacity to flex creativity. Some of us just flex it more often than others.
And I believe that if there were a message to give to people who don't think they are creative, is, hey, wait, yes, you are. It's just not in the traditional. You may not be a singer, you may not be an entertainer, you may have stage fright, you never want to be in front of people. That doesn't mean that you're not super creative, because that's the gift of humans to the world, is creativity. Animals, and no matter how wonderful they are, don't have a feeling of creativity, and they don't have an appreciation for the arts or for beautiful things as opposed to ugly things. But humans are creative by nature.
Yeah, I love that we're creative by nature. I love that we as children can turn a empty paper towel roll into a million different things.
Yes. Yes. And children do that all the time, don't they? They do.
Yeah. When you were a child or younger, what's your earliest memory of being creative?
I remember I'm old enough that my mom had a gas stove that lit with a match. And I remember it. So that meant I was younger than 7 years old. Okay. And I was actually drawing a picture of how she could have a little, you would stick a match in this thing and turn a thing, and the match would hit a piece of paper and light.
I love it.
It's like, I was thinking, how can I make this easier for my
invent something new. I mean, what a flex of creativity. I love it. That's awesome.
And my dad gave me one of his old watches, and it was a wind-up watch, and I could watch the gears work, and I could take it apart and think of how I could make it better or something. I don't know. Yeah. That's a childish thing that I think almost every child does, and something that appeals to him. Look in the engine of your car. Nowadays, you can't do that because it's all shrouded and it's all.
It's a little different.
But when it was mechanical, I was onto it.
Nice. Oh, are there any things that you did as a kid that you don't do anymore that you wish you continued to do as an adult?
I don't think so. I got a birthday card from my daughter that said, "You're only young once, but immaturity lasts forever." And that's me.
So perfect. So you're continuing to do all the things. I love it. That's amazing. So, it's how you stay young, right?
They change form, but I like to play with the grandkids and and just roughhouse and make up stuff. I think that comedians do that.
Yeah. How beautiful. It's that let your imagination go wild. And
well, I guess the thing is that, again, not criticizing myself for being immature.
right,
This is
or goofy or
how I am.
silly, or yeah, I love that. I mean, hearing you say that and watching your whole body expand, there's like a sense of freedom, or that's what it feels like to me hearing you say that. There's a freedom that comes along with it.
I think the biggest challenge that almost anyone has is to stop berating yourself for how you are. This is how
Yeah.
you are. You may not even like it, but it's,
Right.
when but if you look at yourself and say, when I'm with people, this is how I be. Either I talk all the time or I listen. It's how I am. Sorry.
Yeah. And the beauty, we can change. It's
Yeah,
not going to be forever. Like, it's not fixed. We have the capacity to make a different choice, try something new. And that's where creativity comes in also.
that's true.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay then.
Give it a try. Well, I imagine that you have a rather robust community, from magician to performer to how does your community impact or influence your creativity?
Um, as a well, that's interesting because as a solo pianist, I spend every day in my studio by myself, nobody there.
Yeah.
I haven't played with over my many years. I've played with bands but almost like 1 year or 2 years or something, but it's almost entirely solo.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have a community. As a matter of fact, I miss that. I don't have friends in the music business. I have my family, but so I can't say. What I can say is that I moved from Los Angeles, where I lived for 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I was always working as a musician, accompanying, playing dance classes, playing for clubs and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then I moved to Greenville, South Carolina, where I now live. And it wasn't until I got here that my actual career really started to blossom. And it was a big fish in a small pond. There's no question about it.
Mm-hmm.
So the community, I got a job when I got here. I got a job in a cocktail bar. Well, it wasn't a cocktail bar. It was a dinner club that was a high-end dinner club. So I
Uh-huh.
met all the people that were busy doing wonderful things in Greenville.
Yeah.
And they were very, very supportive. And even though I did that for about 6 years, but it's been many years past that I did it,
Mm-hmm.
that's how I met everybody. And it felt like I was going to a party every night with people that I really enjoyed being with. And I just have a chat and talk and play. And I learned so many of those. They would request tunes. So I learned so many of the tunes that I needed to know, the old standards and the musicals.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finally got to doing my own show, which I do now, I do a 2-hour show in concert halls.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had already learned how to converse with people and how to entertain people. And I learned all the songs that we need to know.
Yeah.
So you need to know if you're playing that sort of thing. It's movie themes, musicals, and the old standard, the American Songbook.
Yeah. I love it. And I mean, I think community is such an important part of creativity, whether you are interfacing with other people or just being influenced or impacted by people who listen to your music or people who have opinions about your music or ask you to play something or learn something. So I love how it really continues to grow and change as people come and go in our life. So.
Yeah. It's one of the things that I found out as a professional musician is I found out what it is that people want to hear, because you can have your this is my best thing, is so great,
I know.
the best arrangement, and it gets an okay, polite applause. When then you play something that you think it's okay, and it just gets a tremendous amount of response. Mm-hmm. So it's not, you're not doing it for the applause, but in my case, mm-hmm. I'm playing for my audience. I'm not playing. If I want to play for me, I'll go to my practice room and play Rachmaninoff all day long if I feel like it. And nobody's going to hear it, and they don't want to hear it, and it's just me. But so when I take a break from preparing my show, what do? I play other stuff that I want to play.
Yeah.
but I separate them. I have learned over the years which pieces of music get the biggest response because I'm playing for my audience. I'm not playing for myself at that time.
That's a great reminder for people who really are in the career of creative arts, that it is, you're not doing necessarily your personal favorite creative expression while you're performing it. Very well, it may be that you're doing it for someone else and you get to do your own later.
Yes, and I think something that's important is, let's say I think this song is a dumb song, but everybody loves it. Well, not to judge them like, oh, why do you love this song? No, they love it, and the world loves it, and there it is, and I do my best version of that song, and I can privately not like it. That's fine.
Right.
Hey, be a big boy about it, you know?
Yeah. Don't judge it. Other people are allowed to enjoy it. You don't have to. I think.
Right, and they're having a great time. Honestly, fortunately, I love most of the tunes that I play, but even the ones that I don't, I think it is bringing them so much enjoyment. Play your heart out when you do it.
Yeah,
you know?
That's a great reminder. I love it.
I love people, and I love for them to be enjoying. So I've taken out some of my favorite arrangements of my personal favorites that I think I did a great job on. I've taken them out of the show because they just don't communicate. So
yeah,
okay. That's okay.
Yeah. I mean, great for you to have figured that out, because not everyone does.
It took me long enough.
I love it. I want to come back to your book because you had started to say something that I just think is so important about how to bring more of your authentic self into, for you, playing the piano or your music. But how do you encourage or share that with other people who may not play the piano, may not be in more of the creative arts field?
I have a way that I believe you can do that, and I think it sounds trite or dumb, but I think it's very real, and I think a lot of people don't do it. Is step outside yourself and look at yourself. From a pianist viewpoint, when I go to meet a new piano, I mean, it could be in a piano store or a concert hall or someplace. What is my first impulse? Do I go to the middle? Do I go to both ends? Do I play really abstract stuff, or do I play very melodious stuff? What do I do all by myself when nobody's watching? Okay, how do I behave when I'm in amongst people? Do I do all the talking? Like me, I talk with my hands all the time. Somebody else just very quietly. Somebody else does all the talking. Somebody else is the life of the party. Somebody else. But you have to actually objectively watch yourself, what you do, what's your default place, and that's your creativity. It's like what I default to. I'm over the top, so my arrangements are a little bit over the top, or I'm very sad. When I'm sad, I'm not just sad. I'm in abject grief. So but that's me. And how are you? You might say, when I go to a party, I'm just kind of part of the furniture. Okay, well, that's who you are, if it is. So that's what you put into your art form. You could be a painter and paint in black and white, if that's who you are. Or you could be painting vivid colors because that's who you are, not because it's like the artist that you admire, that you wish you could be like. I think you learn from those people. And I learned a tremendous amount from playing classical music, because I found out, how do the masters accompany a melody? How do they do these things? And then I have all those tools in my bag of tricks. But when it comes to making an arrangement, I like melodious things. I just do, and I like some arpeggios and some arpeggios I don't like. But I've had for some reason I've had an ability to know who I am from the get-go, from the time I played chopstick. It was one more time with feeling,
I love that. That's
I think
amazing.
Finding out who you are without getting into the psychological, philosophical theories. You can read all sorts of philosophy and psychology, but if you just step outside and look at yourself, just really look, without saying, I shouldn't be that way. If you're
Right.
shy, you're shy.
What you're talking about to me speaks so much of mindfulness and paying attention on purpose and being really having an awareness of what is and not having a judgment about it or an opinion about it, just noticing this
Yeah.
is who I am today. Tomorrow might be totally different, and that's okay, but I'm not there tomorrow. I'm here today. So,
You know what else? And not judging the listener for not liking those things about you.
right.
If you're, again, if you're not in the profession, it doesn't matter. But if you're doing it as a profession,
Yeah.
then you really, it's not because I'm selling out, I'm doing with it. No, it's not. I mean, I do some music for people who commission something, a piece of music, or if you're in the advertising business, which I am not, you write a jingle.
Right.
It's work for hire, and you're a professional craftsman, and you do this work for hire to accompany that film or whatever it is, and you know that, but you don't judge them for it. Like, it's a stupid commercial. No, it's not. It's just, you're doing, and in the meantime, you try to put as much authenticity into that work for hire that you can.
And I think you can still, find that authenticity and put that in any job, whether it's a performing arts career or whether it's you're a lawyer or you are a mail person or you're delivering groceries. I like to think that we can express who we are in whatever we do.
And I think that, I know we've covered this, but I really think that almost everybody has an inner judge that says, yeah, I'm waiting tables, but and then judgment comes after that. No, it should say, I'm waiting tables, period.
Yeah.
And we've all seen little things on YouTube or meme where the bus boy is so amazing. He's just bussing the tables like he's an athlete.
Yes.
Because when I was a janitor, which I was, I remember cleaning the floors so clean that people said, whoever that janitor was, because we did industrial places, businesses in the middle of the night. And they said, whoever you got this time, I want him back again, because I want to make that floor so clean that they would just say, oh my God, a clean floor.
Yeah. Putting your authenticity into being a janitor and cleaning a floor. I think it's just as important. So,
and I didn't apologize to anyone that I was being a janitor while I was playing piano at night.
Yeah.
I didn't apologize. They could know it or not know it.
I love it. Oh my goodness. It has been such a treat to chat with you. I have one last question. What does it feel like in your body to be creative?
It's exuberant, energizing, so fulfilling, and sometimes when I'm playing, I almost get tearful because I'm expressing the emotion so sincerely, really sincerely, and I know I did. Again, hopefully it comes across to the audience, but the point is, oh my God, nothing feels like that. How does it feel to you?
Oh, creativity, it's expansive, it's fluid, it's changing all the time. Sometimes it can be a little bumpy. Sometimes it can have some like deep dips and deep highs. And I wouldn't change it. I love the experience of what creativity feels like in my own physical body.
And you are an actress, so that you have to create different things, which I don't have to do as a musician. I'm pretty much how I am. So that's something I don't know anything about, but I admire so very much. But it's still the you playing that part and you playing that part.
Absolutely.
Different from somebody else playing those same. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's really been wonderful chatting with you. Thank you so much. If people want to hear your music, get your book, how would they go about doing that?
Okay. If they can spell my name, which is Emile Pandolfi, it'll show up on Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Books, and wherever, YouTube,
Perfect.
all of those places, wherever you buy books or wherever you listen to your music, if you just put my name in, it'll show up.
Wonderful. I will add that to the show notes so people can easily access all of your creative endeavors out in the world. And again, thank you so much for chatting with me. It's been awesome.
I loved it. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. We'd love to keep in touch, so follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We are at Sustaining Creativity. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Tag your friends and family so they can listen too. We love to hear from you, so leave your reviews, comments, and questions. Check out our website, sustainingcreativity.com, for upcoming offerings and creativity coaching. Tune in Tuesdays for our next episode. And remember, with creativity, anything's possible.